Hey guys, TJ Lawton here, and today I want to tell you how you can get over perfectionism. Now, as you might already know, perfectionism is a form of procrastination. Some people will be afraid to admit that, but it is, and I can explain how that is. So, when you're writing music, for example, your ego kicks in and you want to write the perfect track. You're trying like it's ready when it's ready. It's got to be perfect. The reason why you might be thinking like that, you might be thinking like that is because your ego doesn't want to make any mistakes. It doesn't want to release a track that's bad and get criticized for it. Therefore, it's trying to create the perfect track that everybody will love and no one will criticize, which is impossible, by the way. This is why you get stuck in a loop and never release anything because your ego can never satisfy those that criteria. It's impossible, but it really, really doesn't want to be criticized and it wants to be seen as high status. Ego holds on to its status where it is and it only wants to move up. Anything that would move it down, sort of like it doesn't like. But this might be the best option for you is to move downward to shed away that ego and get this out the way. And something I've picked up from Tom Ballaroo, I think that's his name anyway. He's a very rich, successful guy. He has a podcast on YouTube called Impact Theory. Might have seen it. Definitely check it out. And something I got from him was failure is the most data rich source in existence. And that stuck with me so much when I heard it. And I've taught other people that, and they've come back to me like a week later and been like, you know, that thing you said last week about failure, that stuck with me. When we say failure is the most data rich source, what I mean by that is every time you fail, you get loads of information about what did and didn't work and like how something feels as an experience. You can read as many books as you want and take as many courses as you want, but you're never going to have that experience of like actually trying it and actually failing at it. And I'm not saying you shouldn't read books or take courses, but failing is definitely going to give you like 200 times more information because it's going to hit you on a deeper level than reading a book. So if you are a perfectionist and you are procrastinating because you're trying to write the perfect track because your ego doesn't want to be criticized, I would say the solution in this case is to fail hard and fail fast and a lot. Get your ego burned. Like, go make some really crap tracks and really like tell your ego that, yeah, look, we're crap. We're nowhere near as good as we need to be. And allow yourself to be bad. Not that it's a permanent thing. I'm not saying, yeah, just be bad forever, but you need to get bad enough that you diminish that ego. And this is probably going to trigger a lot of people because they're going to be like, no, I don't want to do that. Right. And it can hurt. But as soon as you get that ego out the way, you're going to have a lot better time with music. You can actually not procrastinate because you're not trying to perfect everything. And when you're not trying to perfect everything, you're generally going to have a more enjoyable experience. Not to mention that also because now you're getting out your own way and you're actually just doing it and you're just putting the hours into making music. You're getting all that experience. You're going to make a track, you're going to put it out. And it's only when you finish that track and you put it out, you're like, oh yeah, it was really muddy actually. I didn't hear it at the time because you can only be as good as your ears and your technical skill allows you to be. But you need to be able to put stuff out there. It fails and you listen back to it. I've made some tracks that I've spent hours on. I've released it and it only got like 1,000 streams or something. I listen back to it and be like, oh man, I really messed up the kick drum there. And then my next song, I was like, right, I know now not to do that, or I know now how to process the kick properly because I'm getting ideas. And even though I've taken courses on how to fucking do a kick drum and how to compress it and EQ it and stuff like that, it still doesn't beat the actual experience of it. So it's very, very important to have those failures. And also maybe helps to reframe failure. Because when I say, fail big and fail hard, people are like, maybe get a bit like, oh shit, I don't want to do that. That sounds bad. It sounds like it's going to hurt me. It sounds like it's going to diminish my ego. It's going to diminish my status. But maybe you reframe failure into like, it, like I said, it's the most data rich source. So think of failure as education on crack. You can go to school for 10 years or you can fail consistently for a year and you'll learn more in that 1 year than you would in 10 years if you just learned theoretical stuff for 10 years, which probably some people are like that, I don't know. But yeah, definitely fail fast, fail hard, fail a lot. Your ego's going to scream at you and be like, no, this isn't perfect, it's not right, it's not ready yet, it's not ready yet. But you just have to fucking keep poking holes at it, and allow yourself to fail. Allow yourself to be trash for a bit, especially if you're starting out. You're gonna be trash. There's no way you're gonna sit down. Your first track's gonna be amazing. I've met people who are like that. They get into music production. They think they're amazing. I mean, it's the Dunning Kruger. Is it the Dunning Kruger effect? I think it's called. And that's where when you start something out, you're super confident, but you're super good. because you don't know anything yet. You're just starting out, and you know they put out these tracks and they think they're amazing, and they just flop, and it's just like, yeah. There's one guy who spent like hundreds of pounds like getting mixed and mastered and getting it marketed and stuff like that. For like, I was like, mate, just calm down, just put the track out and just move on to the next track and get better, because honestly, it's not a hit. You know, at the same time, I have to be subjective because maybe I'm wrong about that. I'm just one person. Just because my opinion is it's not a hit doesn't mean it might not be a hit. But I digress. That's, you know, another topic. So yeah, to get over your perfectionism, which is a form of procrastination, you're gonna have to beat the shit out of your ego. You're gonna have to let your ego fail, and your ego is gonna kick and scream when it's doing it. But honestly, that is the best way to do it. There's a quickest way to do it, because the other way of doing it is you actually get perfect, and you spend 20 years getting really, really, really good at music production without releasing anything. Do you really want to be that guy who releases one track every 20 years, or just even a track once every year? No. Fail hard, fail big, fail fast. And if people give you shit for it, time to fuck off. Like, who cares? Like, or at least I'm making stuff. At least I'm doing stuff. It's like, oh, your kick drum sounds crap. It's like, who cares? Like, who cares? If you don't like it, don't listen to it. And if you're going on the internet just to criticize people, damn, man, like they've got their own shit going on. So don't worry about failing. People that criticize you just don't understand it, or they're just jealous in some way, right? So whatever's holding you back from failing, just realize it. There's ways you can frame it, right? There's ways you can reframe your mind about it. So I suggest you think about that. Think about how failure might actually help you, and how you need to sort of step away from this idea that ego only wants to move up in status, and it never wants to move down. And by failing, your ego's like, well, I'd move down if I failed. So you have to be comfortable with your ego feeling like it's moving down. Doesn't mean you actually are moving down. You can make 100 bad tracks and nothing's going to happen to you. Honestly, nothing bad will happen to you if you make 100 bad tracks. But after 100 bad tracks, you might be really good, because you've learned a lot. You've had that experience of failure, and you know what does and doesn't work. You just have to get used to your ego taking those hits. And it's probably a good thing, because as it takes those hits, it gets diminished, and then you start to be more in yourself, more authentic. I think that is, in my opinion, the best way to go. But take it with a grain of salt. Not everyone's going to agree with this. Some people are probably going to hold on very tightly to the perfectionism label. And you're like, yeah, it has to be perfect. Honestly, some of the tracks I write, only 80% there, maybe 85% there, because I'm not good enough yet to get in there. I'm not good at my ear's not good enough. My technical skill's not good enough. I'm not that good of a writer. That's just how it goes. I don't try to get it perfect because I can't. And there isn't even anything of perfection. I think the best artists in the world, they get to like 99.9 because they're that good, right? They get to 99.9, then 0.99, then 0.999, then 0.99999, and so on. And they never get to 100% perfect because it's just not achievable. But you can get close, right? But don't wait to get that close. Just fail. Just fail big, fail hard, and reframe failure as the best source of information, the best source of education you can get. I'd rather fail hard for a year than go to school and learn theoretical things about mixing and production for 10 years. Because while that would be useful, 10 years is a long time to just learn theoretical stuff and not really finish anything, when you could just write literally 200 tracks in a year if you really wanted to. And you'd learn a lot from that, I guarantee you. I think I've looped around on a few things a few times. I think I got my point across. I hope this video is useful. Let me know in the comment section what you think. If you disagree, you agree. If you need any help with anything, let me know. And please like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Cheers.